Hi everyone, Tambarambaa here, also known as Tammy Klinger. Excuse my voice today, I'm coming off the back of the flu, so hopefully I don't cough through this, but I need to get this done. So just making a couple of tags today. I just like the way tags are a different size in your art journals and they just give a bit of interest. So I thought that's what I'd do with you today. I did start off with a pile of stuff that I thought I'd use and I didn't use all of it. So if you look in the comments, I have listed all of the products that I have used. So I grabbed a sheet of the A4 all-round paper and I just cut it into halves, and then I used a large shipping tag just as a template to cut out a couple of tags. And then I grabbed one of the scrapbook papers from the Bold and Bright range. This is one I hadn't used yet and I'm not sure why, because I love it. And I just tore a strip off around the size of the tags and then just started gluing that on with the sticky glue. So not sure what's happening with my video at the moment. It's going in and out of light. I thought I'd corrected all this, but anyway, I'm getting there. So what I've done now is I'm just going to match up the colour that's in the tags. So there's a beautiful limey colour, and so I emulated that by using some Happy, which is yellow, and then it's just a touch of Mermaid, which is the aqua colour. So yeah, that's a really good match. So I've just filled that in around the tag, and I also added a bit of Ballet, which is pink. And now I'm coming in and doing some stenciling. So I've grabbed an old stencil of Marlene's from the Crafters Workshop. Has lots of little different patterns on it. So she's got lots of stencils like this, so you can basically grab any one and it'll work. So it's just about creating some marks. So what I was doing is swiping a bit of paint on with my finger and then just using a wet baby wipe to remove it off through the stencils. So I did that with those scallopy edges. And then I have come in, I added some dots as well, but what I've done is I've also grabbed the Mixed Elements stamp set. Oh my gosh, I love this stamp set. You've got to make sure you get this one. It's just so useful for all of your backgrounds. Anyway, there's a gorgeous little dotty in there, and I thought, oh, I should have used that to start with. So I used that because it kind of looked like those pink dots there, but I did it with black ink. I also came in with, there's a gorgeous rainbow scallopy stamp, and also the crosses as well. So I'm just kind of creating a background that goes all together, you know, it sort of blends into the paper. And I decided to use the gorgeous creative alphabet stamps. I love these. So I pulled out two fairly, I haven't got a lot of room, so short words, art and play, and I stamped those using black ink onto my tags. And now I just want to add a bit of oomph to my tags, so I grab out the sky and just rub a little bit on with my fingers. And then I also use a really cool stamp, a mark making stamp from that Mixed Elements set, and also put the sky on that. And I actually stamped this so it comes off of that sky colour, so it doesn't look, it looks like it's meant to be there. It all becomes one in the background if you sort of have it coming out from the colour. So once I've done all this, I love my black and white stripes, so I thought, yep, I'll add a couple of black and white stripes to a few of the edges. So here I'm just adding the white. I find I have to do a couple of layers of white. Black I don't need to at all, but the white, I guess there's lots of bright colours under there. So yeah, so I'm just simply with Marlene's flat brush and the smaller one, smaller size, just adding a few marks and stripes to the edges. So now I'm looking for a quote that goes with these tags. So on the one that says art, I picked find your inner peace, because that's really what art does for me. And then for the play one, I chose a quote that says make your mark, because that's playful and yeah. So once I've stuck them on, I just scribble around the edge with a black fine paint pen, and then I just added a few more scribbly marks as well, just to copy what was in the paper already. Now I'm pretty happy with that. I decide, yep, I'll dry that off, and that's the front of my tags done. So time to turn it over and do the back. Now with the back, I actually just kind of copied what the colours that were on the front, but just made my own design. So I started with Sky, which is that beautiful blue, and I'm using a dry brush technique. So I've come in also with the Ballet, which is the pink, and I'm using colours that I know will blend really nicely together if they mix. So yeah, and Marlene's paints dry really quickly, so, but I'm not washing my brush in between, I'm just simply blending the colours as I go. So I also added that Happy and Mermaid to make that gorgeous limey colour, and a touch of Mermaid on its own. Now I've come in and added first I added some pink paint, and then I added some white paint, and I just used that technique of popping some paint down with my fingers and then quickly pulling it back off with a wet baby wipe. That just creates a really interesting background that doesn't look like you've just put paint on the background. It gives it some interest. And then I simply use some white mark making with my brush to bring that white out from those patterns, and that just kind of ties it all together. So I'm just doing the same on this one, just using a couple of stencils to pull back the paint, and then adding in my white mark making. So they're quite different, but that's okay. That's what I want. So I give them a dry off, and then one of the secrets to why I always get kind of really bright colours is adding some of Marlene's neon paints, the translucent ones, over the top in a couple of spots, and it just lifts everything. So my favourite for that is that punk, which is that purple, and you just rub it into a couple of spots. It's particularly beautiful over pinks and blues, and it will just lift everything up. And because it's transparent, you don't lose any of what's underneath there. It just gives it a kick. So that's what I did. And then I decide, okay, I'll match the front and add my stripes again. So I'm coming in with my black and white paint to add the stripes. Then I'm just filling in a little bit of white. I knew that I wanted to do a little bit of journaling. So I decided it was typical of me. I go full throttle with the colour, and I just decide to add a little bit of white back in. So now it's time to make them match the front by using all of the same stamps that I used on the front and the black ink. So again, I'm using from the Mixed Elements set the little dots and that gorgeous sort of rainbow scallop, and then that other mark making stamp, and this time I'm using the punk, that purpley paint, to stamp that on, so it's slightly different to the front. Now I'm adding a touch of glow, which is another neon, and that's just like I do with the punk. It just gives it a pop, so it just goes over the top of what you've already done. And I forgot to do the little crosses, so I'm just adding those in now quite randomly and clustered on to the backs of the tags. So I think I've decided here that I'm done. Yep, so I dry it off, and then I do my journaling. So on the back, I think I've got the play one first, and on the back of that one I wrote, when you are sad, play. When you are happy, play. When you are unsure, play. And then on the back of the art one I wrote, art helps you to process, it's like pressing reset. And yeah, they're just so that way there's the word on the front and a nice little journaling from me on the back. Now I've just realised when I flipped my tags over that I hadn't put some of that fluoro on the front, so I decided to do that. And now I'm just rubbing some black ink around the edges just to give them a border. And then what I did do off camera is punch the holes in and add in some little string. So here you can see how they look in my journal. I just love how they peek through and all the colours happen underneath. So I'll leave you with a few close-ups so you can have a look. But don't forget to subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment. You know how much I love reading, knowing that you are here. And my next video will be with the new range. So stay posted because it won't be long. Thanks for being here. Bye.